Two firefighters are dead. One killed in an explosion, the other didn't survive the ride to the hospital. And it all started with an electric vehicle in an underground garage. I really hate covering tragedies like this, but if the fire service doesn't learn from them, it's bound to happen again. This happened in Alcorcón, a city outside of Madrid in Spain. A man in the 60s was parking his vehicle in a residential parking garage, an underground parking garage. According to early reports, he actually mistook the accelerator for the brake and lost control, crashing into a column. In most vehicles, that wouldn't be a huge deal, but this wasn't any car, it was an electric vehicle, a Porsche Taycan. Overall, the battery design is pretty robust, or at least it appears to be fairly robust. I wouldn't normally expect a crash like this to trigger thermal runaway, but according to eyewitness reports, the battery went up fast. That suggests something may have punctured the underside of the battery pack during the impact, breaching one or more of the cells, kicking off the failure, and starting that cascading thermal runaway effect. The driver and the passenger were able to escape with the help of some nearby construction workers who witnessed the crash. That's really fortunate because toxic smoke quickly filled the underground garage as that fire spread to multiple vehicles nearby. When fire crews arrived, they were met with thick smoke, low visibility, limited ventilation, and a rapidly growing fire. Conditions really couldn't have been much worse. It's reported that shortly after firefighters entered the structure, there was an explosion. If you're not familiar, when lithium-ion batteries go into thermal runaway, they can release massive amounts of flammable gas. Conservatively, a battery of that size could vent up to 50,000 liters of gas. Now, the exact composition depends on the cell chemistry, but I expect something in the ballpark of 13,000 liters of hydrogen, 15,000 liters of carbon monoxide, which is flammable, and another 5,000 liters of various other flammable hydrocarbons. In a confined space like that, an underground garage, that's a recipe for disaster. And tragically, it left two firefighters dead. One was killed instantly, based on the reports. The other one was pulled from the garage and transported with severe smoke inhalation, but he died en route to the hospital. I would hope that both were in full PPE and SCBA, their self-contained breathing apparatus, but it's very possible that that explosion dislodged their face pieces, causing them to inhale those toxic gases. 14 other firefighters were injured, and at least one remains in critical condition. We've seen multiple electric vehicle incidents like this. Some have relatively minor deflagrations, and others large explosions. As I've been tracking these events over the years, I knew it was only a matter of time before one of these events turned deadly. And it's frustrating to stand by and watch. That's part of the reason why I started this YouTube channel, was just to get the information out there so firefighters knew the risks. Understanding these hazards, it's critical in situations like this. Isolation and ventilation, they're absolutely vital. These aren't your typical vehicle fires, and in this case, the crew might not have even realized that an electric vehicle was involved until it was too late. Underground garages are essentially concrete boxes. In Europe, it's even worse. Many of these garages are extremely compact. If smoke and flammable gases build up, it doesn't just hamper firefighting efforts, it creates a highly explosive environment. We've seen these same types of events in shipping containers and trailers transporting damaged lithium-ion batteries. Visibility is another challenge. These fires produce thick, toxic smoke, and it isn't your average structure fire smoke. Every vehicle today is loaded with plastic, foam, and rubber. That's not just electric vehicle, that's combustion engine vehicles as well. All those contribute to a nasty chemical mixture. But with EVs, you're also dealing with heavy metals and fluorinated compounds from the battery itself. That stuff lingers in the air, contaminates our gear, and it's not something that you want to be breathing. After this event, Spain has declared 3 days of mourning. Flags are at half staff, vigils are being held for the fallen firefighters, and across Europe, emergency responders are asking themselves the same questions. Are we ready for this? Are fire departments truly equipped? Are parking garages designed to handle these kinds of fire loads? And it's not just the heat, but it's also the deflagration hazard, because that's not something that we've really had to deal with before. Are our SOPs, our standard operating procedures, built for what lithium-ion battery fires actually look like in an enclosed structure like that? Lots and lots of questions. This was an absolute worst-case scenario. A high-voltage battery failure in a confined space with deadly consequences. And it's a sobering reminder. We're not just dealing with car fires anymore. We're dealing with battery events, thermal runaway, and those can come with a whole new set of hazards. My thoughts and prayers are with the families of the fallen and their brothers and sisters in the fire service who are grieving this unimaginable loss. I'm also hoping for a speedy recovery and a full recovery for the firefighters who were injured. We owe it to all of them to learn from this tragedy so we can prevent the next one.